All right, let's pull back the curtain on the tech you use every single day. We're going to look under the hood of our mobile apps and figure out what actually happens in that little split second right after you tap the screen.
I mean, think about it. Every day, you're doing hundreds of these little actions. Tapping to send a message, swiping to see the next picture, scrolling through your feed. And every single time, it feels instantaneous, seamless, almost like magic, right?
But of course, it isn't magic. It's this incredibly complex dance happening between your finger, the app's code, and your phone's processor. So what is really going on in that blink of an eye after you tap?
Well, the best way to wrap your head around it is to picture an iceberg. Seriously, what you see and what you touch, that smooth, polished screen, that's just the very tip. But underneath the water, there's this massive, powerful structure holding the whole thing up. And that's exactly where we're going today, below the surface.
So let's start at the top with the part of the iceberg we can all see, the user interface, or the UI. This is everything you look at and interact with. It's the face of the app, the part that lets you talk to it and lets it talk back to you.
So, the big question for any developer is, how do you turn a flat, static picture on a screen into something that you can actually interact with? How do you build an interface that just knows what you want when you tap a button? Well, the answer comes down to something called a widget.
A widget is pretty much the most basic building block of any app screen you've ever used. It's a pre-built little piece of the interface designed for one specific job. Think of them like digital Lego bricks that developers snap together to build the app.
So you know that submit button, or a search bar, or a volume slider, a checkbox, a drop-down menu? Yep, those are all widgets. Every single one is its own little component, just sitting there, waiting for you to interact with it so it can translate your touch into a command the app understands. They're basically the vocabulary of your conversation with the app.
Okay, so you tapped a widget. You've told the app to do something. Now, we gotta dive deeper. We're going below the waterline of our iceberg, down into what you could call the engine room. This is where the app keeps all of its information, where it manages it, and where it protects it.
And this is a huge deal, right? I mean, whether it's your login info, a message you just sent, or that thing you just added to your shopping cart, that data has to be saved correctly. Every single time, no exceptions. So how do they guarantee that kind of reliability?
Well, the secret lies in the app's database. Most modern apps use these incredibly powerful things called SQL database engines to act as their memory. And these engines don't just save things willy-nilly, they bundle actions into these little packages of work called transactions. A transaction is basically a promise. Either every single step of this operation finishes perfectly or none of it does. It's all or nothing.
And to make sure that promise is never, ever broken, every transaction is put through a super strict set of rules. It's called the ACID test. ACID is an acronym for 4 key properties that guarantee, and I mean guarantee, that your data is never lost or messed up, even if your phone crashes right in the middle of an operation.
These 4 properties, they really work together like a 4-layered shield protecting your information. Atomicity, that's the all-or-nothing part. Consistency makes sure no rules ever get broken. Isolation keeps different actions from tripping over each other. And durability, well, that just means that once a change is saved, it stays saved, no matter what.
And here's the perfect example for that A in ACID, atomicity. Let's say you're transferring $100. First, the app takes the money out of your account. But, oh no, what if your phone crashes right then before it can put the money into your friend's account? Without atomicity, that money would just, poof, gone. But because of these ACID rules, the database is smart. It knows the transaction didn't finish, so it automatically rolls everything back, putting the $100 right back in your account. No money lost. This is what makes all of our digital transactions safe.
So we've seen how the interface works and how data gets stored. But there's another hidden system that is absolutely essential for a good experience. It's the part that keeps the app feeling fast, feeling responsive. Let's dive even deeper into our iceberg.
Aw man, we've all felt this pain. You tap a button and the app just stops. The whole screen is frozen, you can't click anything. Ugh. That usually happens when an app tries to do something really heavy, like download a big file, on its one and only lane of traffic.
The solution to this dreaded freeze is a clever trick called multi-threading. And honestly, the best way to think about it is that it gives the app the ability to, walk and chew gum at the same time. It opens up multiple lanes of traffic, multiple threads, so that the big, time-consuming jobs can happen in the background without bringing everything else to a screeching halt.
So here's how it breaks down. You've got the main thread, sometimes called the UI thread. Think of this one as the VIP. Its only job is to handle what you see and touch to make sure the interface feels buttery smooth. Any heavy lifting, like downloading a video or running a search in that database we just talked about, gets passed off to a background thread. This is like the golden rule of making great apps. You never block the main thread. This is why you can be smoothly scrolling through your feed while in the background, the app is quietly loading in new posts.
Okay, so now we have all the pieces of the puzzle, right? The user interface on top, the database as its memory, and the multi-threading that connects it all. So let's put it all together and take a look at the complete iceberg, from the very top to the very bottom.
So let's follow the complete journey of just one tap. It starts with you. You tap a widget on the screen. That immediately kicks off a task, which is sent straight to a background thread. That background thread then talks to the database to grab or save data, and the whole time, those ACID rules are making sure everything is perfect. Once the job is done, the background thread sends the result back to the main thread, which then updates what you see on the screen. And because that main thread was free the whole time, the app never felt slow or stuck. It felt magical.
And that brings us right back to our iceberg. That simple, effortless little tap is actually the final step in this incredibly complex and perfectly orchestrated chain of events. That smooth interface is only possible because of this massive, powerful, and completely invisible structure working like crazy just beneath the surface. So, next time you pull out your phone and tap on an app, just take a second. See if you can almost feel that iceberg. Can you guess when a background thread is spinning up to do some work, or when an ACID transaction is protecting your data? Because now you know what's really happening underneath the glass. Thanks for tuning in.